Today we are back with another reaction. This time, if you guys know Greeny, he predicted his AFC Super Bowl contenders, and we're going to react to it right now. Let's get it.
I don't think it's a far-reaching pick. So for my AFC pick, and the AFC might be as loaded as any conference I can ever remember at any time.
100% true, guys. This conference this year is loaded, okay? I mean, every team that you look at who's going to be at the top of their conference is really, really good. I'm not going to go through each division, but you got the Chiefs, you got the Bills, of course you got us, you know, the big boys. You got, even in our own division, the Bengals and the Browns are going to be good, so it's going to be tough.
Every team in the West, there's not one team in the AFC West that I couldn't see winding up in the Super Bowl. There are 2 and maybe 3 teams in the AFC North I could see winding up in the Super Bowl. And the Bills might be the best of them all from the AFC East. So I could throw a dart in a million different directions. I'm going out on a little bit of a tangent, a little bit of a limb on my AFC pick. Once upon a time, the Baltimore Ravens were not willing to pay their quarterback. They said, prove it to us, show us. And Joe Flacco made himself the most expensive, the richest football player at that time in the history of the sport.
And again, you guys remember that's our last Super Bowl championship. It was a magical time in Baltimore. Trust me, I remember it like it was yesterday. It was beautiful. It was beautiful, magical time.
Lamar Jackson is betting on himself. He's in a fascinating situation. This is a team that was the 1 seed in the AFC in December last year, while they were as injured as any team I can ever remember. John Harbaugh actually called me to see if I could come in and play running back or secondary for them at some point last year. They were so banged up. And while Lamar was still healthy, that team was still the...
And so that was a tough time. And again, you guys have heard me say again and again that Lamar propped us up as much as he could. But again, you lose your 2 best running backs in a running scheme. Your left tackle you thought was going to be right, he wasn't right. You lose your cornerbacks in the defensive scheme, which depends on cornerbacks. Our whole defensive scheme is let's blitz everybody and let's play man coverage on the back end. You can't even do that anymore, which is why we were the worst pass defense in the league. So it was just tough.
1 seed in the AFC. I'm taking a flyer on Lamar and the Baltimore Ravens. I am taking them to wind up in the Super Bowl this year. What do you think of that, Mike T?
Let's go. Listen, that's who I got going to the Super Bowl, the Ravens. I promise you guys, if we get to the Super Bowl, I'm gonna be there. But again, he believes it's going to be the Buccaneers and the Ravens in the Super Bowl. That'd be a great Super Bowl. I would love it. But let's see what Mike Tannenbaum has to say about Green's pick here.
I don't think that's crazy. I think they're going to be a really hard out, and as long as they can stay healthy, and most notably Lamar, they're going to be a team that no one wants to play. I think they win the division. But when it's all said and done, I am all in on the Chargers. I just think they're going to be more explosive on offense. Defensively, I think they'll be comparable because they have Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Derwin James, and now J.C. Jackson. But I don't think the Ravens are crazy. I think they're really well coached. They got the best kicker in the game. And if they stay healthy, Green, they're going to be tough to beat.
Now, and then you bring up the...
And so, again, Chargers, there's so many teams in the AFC that could win the Super Bowl, to be 100% honest with you. But, again, the Chargers have a coaching problem. I think the Ravens have one of the best coaches in football, one of the best quarterbacks in football. We probably have the best secondary in football. And again, we definitely have the best kicker in football, like you said. So in these big time moments, I think we can win these games. And Lamar has shown he can win games in big time moments. He did it all last year by himself. So again, I think he'll be able to do it again this year because he's Lamar. So.
Coach, and that's where I can't go with you on the Chargers. I love Herbert almost as much as you do. No one loves. We have renamed him Justin Herbert Tannenbaum with a hyphen. Justin Herbert hyphen Tannenbaum.
Man, look at this cable bill.
Well, what if I told you that you could get home internet from Verizon?
Verizon does home internet?
Verizon does home internet?
On Get Up because of how much you love him, and I think he's terrific too. And they've got talent. I mean, all the way around. They've got great weapons. They have great defensive line. I hear it all. But the coach really scared me last year. He gave games away. He gave the play.
And again, I don't watch these before I react to them. This is my first time hearing that too. I just guess we all can see the coach has an issue. So let me know in the comments below if you think the Ravens have the best coach in football. Currently, again, Bill Belichick's falling off a little bit because to me, it seems like it's Tom Brady, not him. So, but that's just me.
Playoffs away with the way he coached that last game against the Raiders. I just can't go there against John Harbaugh, who I think is quietly right in the conversation with Belichick and Tomlin as the best coaches in the league.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. And Brandon Staley has to get better. I think he will, but that's totally fair. And you think about the Ravens, like they really address some weaknesses, drafting Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame, Greeny signing Marcus Williams from the Saints, and they're going to get back both their corners who are hurt in Peters and Humphrey. So I think they've done a really good job of shoring up like their weaknesses, and if they can stay healthy on offense. The big question though is going to be can Rashad Bateman take the next step and be a bona fide number one guy? Now, other people will say because of Mark Andrews, the way they play, that's not as important, but at some point they're going to need to score, and I think that's what's going to separate the Chargers and the Ravens ultimately.
We'll see what happens.
And we have to, again, before they go on, I need them to define for me, what do they consider a number one guy? If you think that in our offense, Rashad Bateman is going to get 1,200 receiving yards, and let's just say 8 touchdowns, probably not going to happen. It's probably not going to happen. But he can get 1,000 receiving yards. He can get, a high 900 receiving yards. Again, I think overall he's a better receiver than Hollywood Brown. And Hollywood Brown had 1,000 last year. And that, again, and so did our tight end, Mark Andrews. So you can get 1,000 yards too in our offense for sure, especially when we have the big plays rolling, when our run game is really, really, really good.
I like it. Those are my picks. Again, my apologies to all our friends in Baltimore. My apologies to all our friends in Tampa. I'm sorry to do it to you, but I had to do it to someone. I've got the Ravens and the Bucs in the Super Bowl. Hiring is challenging.
So again, awesome. I agree. I'm not, again, I think the Ravens are good enough to make the Super Bowl and win it. I think we are one of the best teams in football, and our defense, especially if Patrick Queen can make the step up and become what we all believe he can become, our defense has zero weaknesses, especially when it's week 6 and we get Tyus Bowser back and Ojabo will be in the game. Our defense has zero weaknesses. And so if that happens, we can have the best defense in the league, right? And then we have Lamar Jackson. What else do you need? Okay, you get the best defense in Lamar Jackson, you got a chance to win it all. So again, I'm excited to see the season goes. Again, let me know who you guys think the Ravens will play in the Super Bowl. And if you don't think the Ravens will make the Super Bowl, let me know in the comments below. Also, please remember to subscribe. It helps us out, and we appreciate you. Go Ravens.